Going live in three, two. It was me. I was already live. I was.
Oh, damn. Damn liar.
I've spent the past hour to get her to stop crying, but it was because her tummy
Why
was
did it
hurting.
take you an hour to knock her out?
What?
She's a baby.
It was because her tummy was hurting. So eventually she shit, and now she just wants to bounce. What is this?
I don't know.
We'll fucking figure it out.
I gotta start up Epic. Launch Unreal Engine.
Okay.
Options for the way the editor works and behaves for us. In the top left, we can go to Edit, Editor Preferences, and we're going to get the Editor Preferences window. In the top left, we have our All Settings option. This is going to give us all of our settings in one large list. If we're looking for something specific, we have a search bar at the top. We can type in grid. It's going to return all the results for what we typed in. Grid in this case. I'm going to clear that out. Next to that, we can toggle some visibility options. Maybe show all advanced details by default, or
Are you on? What are you doing?
I'm signing in right now.
expanding all categories.
Loser.
Below this, we have a few buttons we can click on that will allow us to adjust the defaults as well as to recover from any mistakes we may have made. Let's say we've adjusted something. We want this green for our default selection color, and we want it to always be green. We can do set as default. This is going to change to our new default settings, everything we've changed, and then now whenever we use it in the future, those are going to be our default settings. Let's say we want to give these settings to someone else. We have the ability to export and import settings into the individual categories that can accept them. That way we can give these to other people. And let's say we've done something terrible and now it's no longer working right, or we've changed something and we can't remember what.
Editor
We
preferences.
can
Is
reset
that where
the
we're at?
defaults, and that'll reset everything
Yeah.
back to our defaults. As you can see, this is now back to yellow. We have a few categories. We have general, level editor, content editors, privacy, and advanced. Everyone is pretty self-explanatory, so we're going to go ahead and cover just the more important things as a new user that you might want to look at and adjust in the editor preferences. So starting with general, we have appearance. And we've already covered, well, selection color, but this is where you can change the colors in your editor. You also have the ability to change it based on color blindness or color vision deficiency. It has a few defaults in here. Not only will this change the editor, it also changes the way the viewport and such works, so you can test easily for how your project may work with different color vision deficiencies. You can, of course, go through here. There are other items to change. The colors are important. The ability to make things larger and smaller on your
Okay,
user screen,
Streamlabs.
and grid size can all be adjusted here. We have our keyboard shortcuts section. Let's say you don't like the way things are set up. Maybe you want to use different keys for navigating the viewport, or you want to use different keys on your keyboard because it's a different layout. You can change them all inside the general keyboard shortcuts section.
What'd you say to me,
You
boy?
have a
So,
primary and a secondary binding in case you want to use two different key sets. Loading and saving is useful because you have a few options, like your autosave, which you can see down here. The autosave by default will show up every 10 minutes. 10 seconds before that, it'll automatically save your project and what you've been working on. You may wish to adjust this either up or down based on what you want to autosave and how often you want to autosave it. This also is where you adjust your default level at start, either the last opened, the project default, or none. Under performance, this has just got one small thing in here. If you happen to be using multiple monitors, or you're wondering why your project is not running properly when you no longer have it as the primary application, by default, Unreal Engine and the editor will lower the amount of CPU usage and therefore your frames that the project is using with this checkbox. If you uncheck it, it'll go ahead and use full performance at all times. Region and language are important because not only does it change the editor language, by default it's going to be your local language, you may wish to change it, but it changes your preview game language if you're using localization. And then lastly, we have our tutorial section. In the top right corner, we have a hat which gives us tutorials. By default, this will be flashing green if you've never used it. If you don't want that on anymore, you can disable all tutorial alerts by checking this box, and now it's no longer going to flash green. Under this, we have the way our level editor works and is laid out. We have some miscellaneous sections, for example, if things are applied automatically when we're working on them. But more importantly, we have our play section. This is where we adjust the way our plain editor, plain standalone, our different settings here under play are set up. As you can see here, play in new window has this default size. You can adjust it. You can adjust how many will be displayed. You can adjust to common settings.
God damn, these sandwiches are hot.
In addition, you have your multiplayer options in here, default number of players and server port, as well as your default play on device options. Viewports contains how our viewports
I'm
work.
getting a Snapchat, dude.
Oh, what?
Augers, dude, taking drug tests to make sure drug tests can be passed for work. Why do jobs still test for marijuana in California?
I have no idea. Maybe it's something federal.
If it's a federal job, no, not even, because I work for a company that has fucking people all across the U.S. I didn't get drug tested.
What?
I said I didn't get drug tested, and it's a job with people all across the U.S. And then if the only argument I could even like pretend to understand, I still don't really agree with, which is working with kids. But like, you can drink alcohol and work with kids. What the fuck is the
Yeah.
difference? One's way worse, and it's
I
not
don't
the
like
weed.
that. I think that's dumb.
Like you can smoke cigarettes and work with kids. That's way worse too. Like I don't get it. Like I really can't think of anything where it's like, yeah, you need to be drug tested to work. It's like you do not drug test for alcohol or tobacco, so why do I have to drug test for this other substance that has the same regulations put on it as alcohol and tobacco?
For your vehicle,
Fucking dumb.
you're going to use it a lot. You can see here we have our default use our WASD keys when the mouse button's
Because fuck you.
But you can change it to always work or never work, depending on your options, or maybe any other editors you've used. And there's a lot of look and feel options in here. We see that previous grid settings that we mentioned earlier when I look for grid, that can change the way the grid looks and feels. Content editors is very specific to different parts of the editor. So for example, content editor, blueprint editor adjusts how the blueprint editor works. The way it works when you're compiling, the way the flow works, the way it has for performance.
Whoa.
Experimental options. Anything specific to the blueprint editor is in here.
Amber is the color of your energy. Whoa.
And like if you get drug tested, right? So let's say you do literally any job and you get into a workplace injury, you have to be drug tested. If they show weed in your system at all, they can just not pay for any of your medical expenses even though it was on the job because they can just say we assume you were high.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, dude? That is so goddamn dumb. I fucking
Our generic graph editor.
Welcome to I've never smoked in my life.
Most of these people are probably fucking stoners. Most of the managers, middle management are fucking stoners. Because like you got to think, I'm genuinely curious. There's no way to like fucking tell. I'm curious how many people smoke weed.
I think a significant chunk of people smoke weed.
I would argue it's likely the same or very similar to the amount of people that drink. Because it is just that, like, it's like just as like a fucking like social thing, right? Like I'm not saying daily. I'm not saying weekly. I'm saying like they probably smoke weed once a month. That's still in their system enough for them to fail a drug test.
Not if you smoked once and it's been a month later.
No, it's like literally like 30 days to clear the system. Yeah. But I'm saying if you smoke once a month,
it depends.
On average, that is like that is the average. What do you mean?
No, it's not. Like I literally, for the military, I would smoke for a week straight, every day, like all day, and then stop for the next 3 weeks, and I was good.
Well, I don't want to know how long weed stays in your blood. That's not what people test. No one fucking tests
It
blood.
stays in your
Okay.
hair for fucking ever. They do a hair sample test. That
Yeah.
shit's like 6 months or some shit.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I'm just trying to figure out how many people use pot. Okay, or smoke pot.
Significantly more people than who call weed pot.
What survey? Okay, who? Pot is for just like old people. Like that's who calls pot.
Yeah. Are you smoking pot, Jonathan?
Well, I'm not even saying it's people who don't do it. I'm just saying it's older generations in general. Like people were potheads, and like they wanted to be called potheads. Marijuana was then like used as like a fucking as a racist thing, so that's cool. They're like, if we make it sound more Mexican, it'll make people hate it more. It was like a legitimate thing. I gotta find the article for that. But it's like marijuana's like the Spanish term for it, right? Or something like that. And they were like, yeah, we'll just use that. Fucking hate this country. Anyways,
Told you, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you can't believe that they'd crash a building on people. Okay, guy.
Say it's crazy how dumb this shit is.
I want to. I don't.
Are you already live?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. I'm
not live yet.
I'm trying to find this fucking article that it's referring to, and it's just leading me to a bunch of other shit, and it's not actually giving me.
How many sheeple smoke weed?
Well, it's like trying to use this survey saying, this survey says nearly 55 million, nearly 55 million American adults currently use, and currently used is saying once or twice in the past year, which is weird. 35 million are regular users or people who use marijuana at least once or twice a month.
Isn't the country only like 330 million?
Yeah, it says 22%. Like it's saying like a large percentage of American adults.
How many fucking people drink?
I'm curious how many I would assume. Oh my god, this is stupid. They scaled this up heavily, but it's a fucking Yahoo News report, first off. And they only got 112 responses. Or sorry, not 112, 1,120. I just totally misread that. But even then, like that is such a small percentage, and to just fucking rapidly scale that. Not only that, but it's fucking Yahoo News. So these people are probably older generations. That 22% is likely a lot higher, if I'm being honest. Um, 76% of American adults are regular tobacco users, and 72% are regular alcohol users, while 20% are regular marijuana users.
Nice.
What do most parents worry about their child doing? Marijuana.
Not drinking.
I think drinking is probably the least bad to underage, right? Like I'm not talking like binge drinking. Obviously, at age that's going to be fucking horrible. But like, yeah, hasn't marijuana like legitimately, no memes aside, been proven to like stunt brain development?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's that significant. Probably pretty similar to alcohol.
I think alcohol has more to do with organs than brain function, and I think that's the difference. Both are fucking shitty for different reasons.
A lot of kids drink a lot.
Yeah, but
and it's pretty fucking bad for their brain.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, as far as like brain development, alcohol's main thing is dependence. Like long-term effect is dependence or depression, which, let's be honest, we all have depression anyways. uh, but yeah, like, there's obviously all of the like the actual long-term effects that are problems, or I guess more upfront problems are heart, liver, digestion problems, cancer, immune system weakening. Like, yeah, those are, yes, they're very real.
What did you say?
Yeah, so obviously there's not been enough testing, but like uh as far as what I'm currently reading, the main thing, the main concern with marijuana impact on the brain for adolescents is altered connectivity and reduced volume of specific brain regions. So basically, executive functions such as memory, learning, and impulse control. Whereas like alcohol doesn't have those long term effects. It has short term impulse control problems, but not long term. And I think that's where weed is worse at a younger age. As that shit's developed and it's not going to develop anymore, which I think is like what, 25? Obviously it's like it's not an exact
Alcohol
number.
can like significantly impair your learning and memory in developing brains.
But what I'm saying is like that's short term. So like during that time, like if you drink, yeah, within the next 24 hours it'll be issues. But if you are no longer drinking after 24 hours, that function is fully restored. It does not have long term damage to your brain. That's the point.
No, it does.
No, it literally does not.
No, it does because your brain is still developing. It's more susceptible.
Okay, here's the American Addiction Center that says it doesn't.
All of this is the CDC.
Like that's literally what I'm saying. Like it has short term problems that go away, but long term brain development is not as heavily affected. And I'm talking specifically brain development. It has way worse long term conditions such as heart, liver, and digestion problems. But weed at a younger age has more brain development problems. That's all I'm saying. They are both shit, and both should not be done by kids.
They are literally also saying that alcohol is terrible for short and long term effects.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're talking
With
brain is what I'm saying.
adolescent brains. Yeah, that's what I just said.
What? It literally doesn't say anything about it. It says long term can lead to depression and anxiety. That is like the only brain related issues. Well, and then obviously, like I said, dependence. That was the first thing I said. Like those are the major brain problems. There is far worse problems, but brain development specifically. But if us as a country even gave half a shit about brain development, then I mean there would be a lot better systems in place to educate us. So we really don't give a fuck at all to begin with. So fuck it, dude. Give the kids weed. Give the kids alcohol. Who cares? We're all gonna die anyways.
True. Ah, fucking tired.
Why are you tired? Wake up.
Inside of the content editor section.
Just working and shit.
You work today?
Is pretty simple. Do you or do
no, but I've been working and then fucking
games when you're using the editor,
been cleaning a bunch.
By default set to send usage data.
Don't
so
send.
I'm not working, I'm working still.
Lesser used, more advanced options. For automation testing, we have an automation option. When things
she's pissed off at me. I don't know why.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're already watching. What are you doing?
Oh shit, dude. Okay, I'm gonna start watching.
AI visual logging, this is where you can change those options. One thing to note is this changes how you work with the editor. And since you work with the editor a lot, you should go through and you should customize it to how you're going to want to do it.
I don't want to.
If you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. You can always reset back to defaults and you can start again, or you can make note of what you've changed. Go ahead and explore and enjoy changing the settings of the editor and make it customized for you. And if you're looking for more specific information, please refer to the documentation. Up next, we're going to cover the project settings, or the settings that are unique to the project itself.
Okay.
Poggers, dude. We're going to project settings next.
I'm not there yet.
This shit is all kind of pointless, if you ask me. Like, it's just like, hey, you've done this like a million times in a million different apps, but we're gonna explain it all to you like you're 5, which is fair. This is meant for like if you've never touched a fucking program in your life.
Settings window is a window that contains settings specific to your project. We can edit project settings, or we click on settings on the toolbar and go to project settings. And we're going to get the project settings window. Now by default we have a few different categories. We have our project category. This contains project specific items like which map starts up when we start our project, which hardware we're supporting. We have our game category, which has game specific framework settings. Our engine category, it controls the way the engine is set up for a project, maybe the way we have our input or our rendering. We have editor specific sections. How are parts of our editor handled in this project? We have platform specific sections. Every platform has unique items for that platform, and this is where you'd configure them. And then we have our plugin section, which is where we adjust project specific settings for these plugins. We can click on all settings on the top left, and it's going to give us all of our settings in one list. This is useful if you want to find something specifically and you don't know where it's at. Maybe we're looking for bloom. We could type in bloom, and it's going to search and it's going to give us back where our bloom is inside of all of our settings. And of course we can close that if we no longer want to search. Now we're going to cover briefly the more important and commonly used sections in each of our categories. Starting with project.
Starting to get hot as fuck!
This is where you fill in things like the name of your project, the publisher, and items related to that.
Only 102 here.
We have our maps and our modes. Now this one is pretty important. If you've ever actually started playing around with the engine and you've created a new map and you're like, well, why doesn't my new map actually work when I try to play it? It's because your default map mode needs to be adjusted. You have your default game mode. In this case, I'm using a third-person template, so it's my third-person game mode, and it has specific settings for that game mode. Below this, we have our default maps. We have one map for the editor, so when the editor starts up, this map loads up, and one for the game. Once you package your project, this is the map that will load up. And then you have a few other advanced options, things like if your multiplayer uses split screen or not, and then your game instance class. This is a very important section to adjust once you start working on your project. Below this, we have a packaging section. This is where you can adjust the final size and settings for your project. You have things like the ability to include your prerequisite installer. You can see that.
Oh my god, this is so exciting.
Yeah, we got to get through the boring shit, okay? Just listen.
This is so exciting.
Not all fun and games.
Supported platforms. This is just a quick and easy way of adjusting which
I wish it
platforms are
was
supported by this project. So that way when you're running, packaging, and cooking, it's only going to suggest these options, and you'll get an error.
We should have stuck with going pro.
We have a few important things, starting with collision. Collision is when you're using physics and items are going to interact with each other. By default, you have a few presets. However, once you get working on unique settings for your project, perhaps you're using a bullet and you want your bullet to only collide with certain items. Your default collision may not work properly, therefore you can create and edit new object and trace channel collisions inside of here. Below this we have our input section. By default you can see I have a few inputs already set up.
Our tutorial.
Person template, it's giving me the ability to move a character around. I can jump, I can move, and I can rotate the mouse. But let's say you want to add something else. You need the ability to crouch, or you're not using a template and you need to set up input. This is where you set up new action mappings and axis mappings for your events, for your input. This is also where you can adjust a few other options, such as are you using your mouse to simulate touch, and if you have the default virtual joystick if you're going to use a mobile device. Briefly, we'll touch upon the rendering section. This is where you can make some higher level changes, such as if you're using forward or deferred rendering and the different types of rendering option. But an important part in here is going to be our default settings. By default, we have things like bloom enabled, ambient inclusion enabled, auto exposure, motion blur, other settings like that. Rather than using a post-processor effect or adjusting your camera or adjusting other settings, at a project level, this will allow you to enable or disable them inside of this section. Below this, we have our editor-specific sections. Things like our level sequences. These are the way they are set up. Our importing of Paper 2D. Well, here's some default settings. So your editors that you're going to be working with, these are some settings for that inside of here. Platforms is fairly important, but we're going to cover it briefly on a high level. Individual settings for platforms. I'm on Windows, so let's go to Windows. Those settings will be inside of here. Which version of DirectX or OpenGL might we be targeting? Which icons are we be using for our splash screen as well as our project icon? If we go to Android or iOS, we'll find some specific options up here.
I'm gonna die.
Settings are set up to support.
I'm gonna die.
As well as some optimization settings. Do you want to support metal, or what type of renderer do you want to support? When you're in Android,
let's get to the fun stuff. Get to the fun stuff.
Which version of Android are you targeting? Is it landscape? Is it
nothing? I'm just
so the
struggling to sit still.
Settings for those platforms are all inside of their own sections in the platform category. And then finally, we have plugins. These are specific settings for the enabled plugins for your project. For example, I have the Substance plugin enabled as an additional plugin. So the options for that plugin are here. Same thing with Oculus VR, Image Media, Level Sequencer. Anything that's a plugin, this is where you'll change those options. The project settings window is where you'll go and you'll change the settings specific to your project. The engine category is one of the very important sections because this is where you do things such as how does your project work with input? How does physics work? How does it look with rendering? So if you're going
project settings,
project, this is where you'd go to adjust it at. Up next,
I'm gonna fart.
World settings window.
Specific
to the world.
Oh, I gotta go get a lady.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay. Quiz time. I'm fucking boss. I'm a boss ass bitch. Shit. Chill. maybe? You know what I mean? Like, ew. Oh, fuck.
And with that, we're going to go and wrap up the settings overview series. So we started by looking at our editor preferences. These are the preferences specific to our editor. Things like, well, how do our graphs look? What options do we have when we are playtesting in the editor in standalone mode? As well as specific content editor options, like for our blueprint or our content browser. We then looked at our project settings, our settings that are specific to our project. Things like the information, the name of it, and our icons and our splash screens. Maybe our maps and our modes, something very important when you actually want to load up the proper map. How to change input, our input settings, as well as the rendering options available to you that you will need to adjust for your specific project. And then we wrapped it up with our world settings, the ability to override our game mode specifically for this individual world or map. Quickly change the gravity, as well as our light mask settings to improve the way our build lights look. Thank you for watching.
What?
And with that, we're going to go and wrap up the settings overview series. So we started by looking at our editor preferences. These are the preferences specific to our editor. Things like, well, how do our graphs look? What options do we have when we are playtesting in the editor standalone mode? As well as specific content editor options, like for our blueprint or our content browser. We then looked at our project settings, our settings that are specific to our project. Things like the information, the name of it, and our icons and our splash screens. Maybe our maps and our modes, something very important when you actually want to load up the proper map. How to change input, our input settings, as well as the rendering options available to you that you will need to adjust for your specific project. And then we wrapped it up with our world settings, the ability to override our game mode specifically for this individual world or map. Quickly change the gravity, as well as...
How did it skip world settings? I was so confused. I was just sitting here like, what the fuck?
The world settings window. This is the window that allows us to adjust or override settings unique to the level that we are currently working in. We can go to Window, World Settings, or we go to Settings, World Settings, and it's going to open it up here on the right-hand side next to our Details panel. Now we're going to go over the more important world settings that we're going to want to adjust on a map-by-map basis. Starting at the top, we have our World section. This is where we can do things like adjust our kill Z. Our kill Z is the Z, or the vertical axis. This value, if an actor goes below it, is going to get destroyed automatically. So if you have a vertical type level layout, you might want to adjust this value so it doesn't destroy your actors.
Are you talking shit, bitch?
Where is that? I was zoning out and I should not do that.
Are you way ahead of me, motherfucker?
Absolutely.
This is the window that allows us to adjust
Loser.
or override settings unique to the level that we are currently working in. We can go to Window, World Settings, or we go to Settings, World Settings, and it's going to open it up here on the right-hand side next to our Details panel. Now we're going to go over the more important world settings that we're going to want to adjust on a map-by-map basis. Starting at the top, we have our World section. This is where we can do things like adjust our kill Z. Our kill Z is the Z, or the vertical axis. This value, if an actor goes below it, is going to get destroyed automatically. So if you have a vertical type level layout, you might want to adjust this value so it doesn't destroy your actors. Our game mode is where we can override the default game mode. Now, I'm using a third-person template, and it uses a third-person game mode as its override. If we were to start up a new map, we're going to find we have an override of none, and we're going to find it uses the project settings, master mode, default game mode as the default game mode. Now, there may be cases where you want to use a different game mode. Let's say you have a main menu and it doesn't need all the functionality in your normal game mode. You can create a new game mode and you can override in this setting for just that level. Now we have light mass. By default, the light mass system is set up to give you fairly good results. Now the light mass system is your static built lighting. It uses the light mass system to build and bake out lighting. If you want to override any of these settings so you can refine it to get better accuracy and more accurate results, you can adjust them here. Almost all of these have very good detailed information telling you what's going to happen when you adjust them. Feel free to play with them. Try to get a better result if you use baked lighting. If you don't use baked lighting, you won't need to worry about this section. As an option, if you're not using baked lighting, in this case I'm not, but I still have light maps, you can check the force no pre-computed light option here, and then you can go ahead and rebuild your lighting. And once you do that, it's going to save some space because it's going to get rid of the 11 light maps I have already built, for example, in this map. The physics section is fairly simple. If we want, we can override the default gravity here. Let's say we have like an underwater world and we want to change the gravity just for this level, we would do it here. The VR system options allow us to change things like our default world to meters. This is where we can override the defaults and we can change it so we have a different ratio when we are in just VR. Depending on the scale of your world, you may wish to adjust that. Maybe you want to simulate your player being larger than the world or smaller, and you can easily adjust that here. And finally, we have our tick settings. This is where on a level basis, we can adjust the ticking for this level. So for example, we can set the minimum and the maximum global time dilation, and we can allow tick to work before begin play event fires off, and we can override that here in the world settings. The world settings are settings unique to this level that we're working in, and it's where you can override or tweak and adjust level specific settings. Up next, we're going to go ahead and review all the things that we've covered.
Doing next quiz. Your project has a level for you menu that requires a separate game mode world settings.
Shut up, motherfucker. I'm watching project settings.
Oh, damn, you're slow.
I'm at 4
I'm
minutes
kidding.
out of
Chill.
7.
Chill. I'm kidding.
Bitch.
Chill. I'm kidding.
Bitch. Why is this motherfucker so quiet?
Is it cheating if I look at the program for...
Yes.
But that's me remembering.
No.
But that means I'm learning.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
No.
Comprehending projects and file structure. Oh my god, more boring shit. When is the game development? Oh, the next one, dude.
After this next one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
It's just so tedious to get through.
Yeah, the boring shit is... I mean, we're not going to get to it today, you know?
It's not even that long, but fuck.
We only get boring shit.
Classes of the future need to be like 25 minutes long. Man, why do humans have to be such fucking losers, dude? Why can't we just download all the knowledge yet?
Man, this fucking like how is this how are people still like doubting the vaccine?
Because it's a government psyop, actually.
Bro, there was 18,000 deaths last month, right? 99.2% of them were unvaccinated people. 0.8% were vaccinated people. Like, fucking the Darwin meme, dude. The Darwin meme.
Ridiculous.
Huh?
I said 0.8
Yeah.
were vaccinated
Yeah.
and they still died? How
Yeah.
old were they?
Why does that matter?
What do you mean?
0.8%. So that's
Out of how many?
out of 18,000.
Okay, that's probably not that much. But 0.8 out of like millions? Because that would be crazy.
I mean, the numbers wouldn't. Okay.
Introducing Unreal
The
Engine
ratio would stay the
Quiz
same.
3. But the amount of vaccinated people that died would increase if the overall number of deaths.
So basically, what we're looking at is 14 people that were vaccinated died,
Yeah.
and that's of COVID. But I mean, likely underlying health conditions, like every fucking other thing.
You want to override the game mode so it applies to your entire project. Where can you do this? Project settings. Hey, quiz over.
Yeah, it's one question. The next one is 3.
Settings over. Oh wait, am I on world settings? No. Yeah, world settings. Is this shit cool? 4 minutes long. If it's not cool, I'm gonna cry.
No, nothing is cool.
Oh, kill floor.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was so excited when I found that. Now you die if you walk off my map.
Hell yeah. That's fast. Like how quick? Immediately?
Oh, it's immediate, yeah. Also, I realized
you just walk too close to the edge, death.
Yeah. I put it at -10, so it's literally like if your foot steps off, you're done. I don't.
The old Spider-Man games. If you try to walk in the water,
Did you touch the water? You're dead. I don't have a respawn point though, and I don't know if there is one that's pre-made.
Yeah.
I think I have to.
A respawn.
Yeah, I think I have to like make a respawn point, which I don't know.
Wouldn't it be the same thing?
No, it does. It just at least it just
character start.
Maybe I have to code the character to allow for respawn because it doesn't right now. It's just you're just dead.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, maybe if you code it on death, go back to character start or some shit.
No, what the fuck? Begging, you. Really? Bro, we're about to watch 3 fucking different videos about the Epic Games launcher.
It's
I fucking
just
can't.
ads. If you buy this, this, and this.
I don't think they've advertised anything to us yet. I think they've just shown me some more learning things that aren't
Ooh,
like
physics.
yeah, they don't go into the physics at fucking all.
Yeah, he didn't. As soon as I was done saying it, he moved on.
Yeah. That's as much time as you get on the fun things. It's like, yeah, you get to change how physics interacts or how your characters interact with the world through physics. Okay, next. Thanks for explaining the word
Fucking
physics for
nerd.
me.
Nuh-uh. Settings overview. I don't need to watch that. Introducing Unreal Engine Quiz 4.
You're done.
Your project has a level for your menu that requires a separate game mode. Where would you set this game mode in the editor? During development, you decide you need to add platforms. Where can you easily add platforms? Oh my goodness, I fucking failed.
Did you really?
Yeah. It doesn't matter though, I could just keep going. Comprehending projects and file structure, dude, come on. Why is it so long?
We're good?
Yeah, I'm starting.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm not gonna fucking pass the quiz, dude.
Why not?
Hello, my
'Cause it
name is
doesn't
Matthew
matter.
Watstein, and in this section, we're going to learn about the Epic Games Launcher. We're going to learn about the launcher itself and the features it gives us as a portal to Unreal Engine 4. We're going to look at the different tabs, like the Community tab, which allows us to interact with the community directly. The Learn tab, it allows us quick access to the documentation and other ways of learning the engine. The Marketplace tab, it allows us to quickly accelerate our project and provides us with free content. The Library tab, it's our primary interface to our engine, our projects, and our vault, which holds items we've purchased and downloaded from the launcher. And then quickly discuss our Modding tab, which is a portal for multiple projects that have been created in the engine that we can use to learn by example. Learning the launcher is a great way to get started with Unreal Engine, as this is the primary interface for your interactions.
Oh, that was
Unreal
quick.
Engine 4.
On to the next one. Welcome to the Epic Game Launcher. 6 minutes.
I'm really excited to stare at the Epic Games launcher for fucking
Fuck.
7 minutes of my life.
The
Yeah.
Epic Games Launcher, which you can see here, is
Sucks
going to be our
ass.
portal to using Unreal Engine 4. Now, by default, we're going to get Unreal Engine 4 as one of our available sections, but we're also going to get some of the other projects that Epic Games is working on. If we don't wish to see them, we can click on the gear icon in the top right and hide the game tab.
Oh my god, that scared the fuck out of me.
Section.
What?
I just glanced at the top right and I see fucking ATHE and then a capital W.
I told you. I told you that before.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I was like, oh, wait, that's not.
It's
Okay.
me.
I can click what and then click what?
The first part we want to talk about is our community. First part we want to talk about is our community.
Stop.
Just the Unreal Engine section with just and hide the game tabs. And this will leave us with just the Unreal Engine section. Now the first part we want to talk about is our community section. This is where we can see what's new. For example, there's a new version coming out. Let's go ahead and talk about it with some of the developers. Maybe one of those articles highlighted will be about a new asset pack that Epic Games is going to release and give to its
Damn, we
community
could look
to
up
help
all the
advance our
answers.
project.
Sick.
Maybe some people have created
What do
some
you mean?
nice things and we want to give inspiration. So here's the
The
spotlight
Unreal
on
Engine
topics.
forums.
And we have some activities.
Where are
going
those?
on. Some things happening in like the Answer Hub or maybe the forum.
Under community.
I don't have a
The Answer
community
Hub, the
tab.
forum, and those other community sections, there's some quick links to them at the top. Now, if you go to them, you'll find things such as this.
Where's your community tab?
This is where
This shit's outdated as fuck. Oh, there's a
to Unreal Engine and go to forums or Answer Hub.
yeah, there's a forums thing. That's not the community tab, you fucking cucklord.
Dingleberry, dude.
give you feedback, hopefully answering
You're
your
so
problems,
stupid.
or
You're
you can always
dumb.
go through and see if
Can't
other
stand
people
you.
have encountered
Dumbest of
issues
the
that you know how
dumb.
to deal with and give them the answers to help them out.
Tiny Peabody brain.
The forum is a great place just to chat with other community members. You can find out what's going on with the engine, with the community, and maybe find some things that will help you out with your current project. The roadmap is a good place to find out what has gone into the engine in the past, what is going into the engine in the future, as well as some ideas about what they may want later in the future. Keep in mind this is just a roadmap. These are going to be things that aren't guaranteed to go in at any time. Lastly, we have our blog. This is where Epic Games can post things that they find interesting for its community. Hey, we have a new version coming out. Go ahead and read up.
We can create. Oh my! Wait! Oh
and how it
fuck!
can help you in your
What?
That's crazy, dude.
What?
There's examples for creating like
Or
cinematics and
NVIDIA
shit.
has an Edge program partnered with Unreal Engine.
Yeah, we can create
Check out the trailer
cinematics.
for last month.
Dude, you can make
They call
movies
it
in
that.
this fucking thing.
Next on our
Dude,
launch
you
is
want to
the
just make
roadmap. This is
movies?
where we
No, but this is quite literally how most of The Mandalorian was shot.
go if we want to
Nice.
learn more about the engine. We have access to tutorials as well as sample resources. You can quickly
Oh,
see
dude,
at the
there's
top, we have
full-on
some things
game
like
projects.
getting started with Unreal Engine 4, or a programmer quick start if you want to jump right in.
Yeah, so you can just go over there,
Below that,
copy.
there are some sample
What? I
projects.
mean,
Now,
figure
these
out
are
how they do
full-fledged
something.
projects you can
Mhm.
open up inside the engine and see how things work. Now, these are engine feature samples. So, for example, how would we create a cinematic using Sequencer? We have an example for that. Maybe a VR demo. There's an example for that. Maybe something like, well, how would I make some water? Well, there's a project for that you can take apart and look and see how it's created. There's some more specific concepts. How would you do multiplayer? Well, here's a multiplayer example. Or how might I do user interface? Well, there's a user interface example. And then there's more full-fledged game projects. For example, using VR, you have a Couch Nights demo on how a full game is created using VR. Or you have the Unreal Match 3, which is a full mobile game with in-app purchases that you can take apart and learn from. Below this, we can find the Marketplace tab. This is where we can go to look for assets that we can use in our projects, as well as sell to other people. You can find a great many things here. One thing that's nice is if you search for Epic Games in the top right search bar, you can find Epic Games released content. Now, these are free items that Epic Games is giving any of its users of the engine for use in their projects. You can get some grass and rocks, for example, from an open world demo collection. some default starter animations from the animation starter pack, or other items as you can see available here. The library tab is going to be one of the more important tabs that we use. This is where we can see which engine versions we have installed. For example, I have .17, .18, and .19 preview installed, and as you can see, all of them are working side by side. The launcher will allow you to download, and it will manage multiple versions of the engine installed at the same time. Under that, we have my projects. So you can see, for example, I have 2 copies of the content examples, but one is geared for engine .18 and one is geared for engine .19. Now, if you want to modify some of the settings on your engines, you can click the down arrow and go to options, and you'll see the available options that you can change. Let's say I create a project in .18 and I'm not going to target, for example, HTML5. I can uncheck this and I can save myself some space. And it's handy if you want to clean up some of your storage on your device. Lastly, we have our vault at the bottom section. This is where items from our marketplace and our library and our learn all come together. So, for example, if I download the
What is that noise?
from the learn,
oh, sorry, it's probably my ice.
Create a new project for learning. Let's say I get something from the marketplace, like an Infinity Blade asset pack.
I can't sit still, man.
Add those items to a new project. Now, lastly, and it's hidden currently, if we go back into our gear and uncheck.
Oh, the video's over. Fucking thank God.
Our modding tab is
the conclusion. Do I need to watch the conclusion? The conclusion's just the same shit.
Created for these different games here, where you can go in and see how things were created. So if I go to my Robo Recall and launch it, I will come up
skipping it.
Here's a custom engine version
quiz
showcasing how to mod the Robo Recall game. And
where in the Epic Games Launcher are you able to find more learning resources for Unreal Engine?
Put together to create this project. It's a great way to learn directly from the launcher. The launcher itself is your primary portal. It's your interface into working with the engine. So learning
probably the library,
knowing how to get around
or probably the Learn tab. Yeah.
With Unreal Engine 4.
Did they get
an asset pack off the marketplace? Where can you access this content? My library? No, my vault. Oh.
And with that, we're going to go and wrap up the section for the Epic
What'd you say?
Launcher. Well, what did we learn? We learned the features of the launcher. The launcher being
What'd you
the
say?
primary interface for
Nothing.
interacting with Unreal Engine 4. You get to interact with the
managing or intro to projects and templates. Are you there yet?
Documentation. It's a primary portal for the
Are you past me?
So we can
1 sec. I'm getting.
your projects. We can manage our project.
I'm about to go into the quiz. Are we not?
It's unlocked, dude.
We have our modding tab, which is a great
What's
way
up?
to quickly get in
What?
and look at how other people have created things in the engine. Once we've done that, though, where do we go now? Well, we can look at things like the projects and the templates, learn how to create new projects, and quickly accelerate using templates. We can learn the editor interface, where the different sections are inside of our editor, and how we'd interact with them to work on our projects. Or dive into the documentation itself on the Unreal Engine documentation page. At this point, you should pick a subject that interests you.
It's a Unreal Engine, like an online learning portal.
Projects. We can manage our projects and the items we've downloaded in the library tab. And then we have our modding tab, which is a
with the bald dad. With the bald man dad, bad dad.
Once we've done that, though, where do we go now? Well, we can look at things like the projects and the templates, learn how to create new projects, and quickly accelerate using templates. We can learn the editor interface, where the different sections are inside of our editor, and how we'd interact.
Ruby said you're a bitch.
Why?
Or dive
I don't know. She just came into my chat and said, "Tell Nate he's a bitch."
That's fucking rude, dude. That's some shit.
Okay, I'm on to managing your projects.
Okay, I'm not even fucking close because I'm like trying to figure out. So there used to be modding. I remember that, but now there's not like a modding tab anymore, which is fucking big oof because I want some fucking. I'm sorry. Is this person selling fighting game for? They're selling a full game for $100. They're like, yeah, just fucking. Oh, it's the noises.
It's probably awful.
It's all the noises.
Okay.
But fucking $100 for just the audio.
I would laugh if they were all the fucking Rickrolled or whatever.
it wouldn't get uploaded then. They can't. You have to like go through a process, and it has to be approved.
Yeah, it would just be funny though.
What?
What? I have not been watching this at all.
This is a fucking okay. So this is a lie, but it's not a lie. I think this is probably the one you got wrong.
What?
The asset pack question. It said
Say it again?
It says you got an asset pack off the marketplace. Where can you access this content?
It's the vault.
Except you literally just click library and it's fucking there. Because
yeah, but it's
library
at the bottom in the vault.
Yeah, but library wasn't a tab when this fucking question was made, which is fucking stupid. It's not my fault that they didn't have a fucking tab. How is that my fault? They just actually changed the fucking layout. Because the vault used to be its own tab.
No. I don't think so.
What do you mean?
We've always been at war with Oceania.
Who are we at war with now?
Since when is he famous? Ever since he became a dad, he blew up on TikTok posting his child for profit.
Who?
You.
I'm not TikTok famous.
I'm Joe. I'm just lying to
I
Ruby.
wish.
Because Ruby is so gullible.
Bro, why are we bullying
Starting
Ruby?
a new project? I don't know. It's fun. What? What's his TikTok?
Oh, no, Ruby. Oh my god, he's lying. I don't even post my.
Yeah, I told you.
I don't even
Go
post my kid
on.
on TikTok. She's been in like 2 TikToks, and they're not even like my most viewed.
We're going to be presented with our Unreal Project browser. Now from here we have a few things we can do.
What is my most viewed? How many views did I get?
By clicking
Probably like not a lot,
open
like 2K.
Now if we try to do that with a newer project, for example,
11K. Okay, I lied,
and I'm
but
using
whatever.
4.18 for the engine, it's going to say no.
Drop his at.
I don't
No,
understand it.
doesn't exist.
It's fucking. It's some embarrassing ass name, dude. He always comes up with the crazy ass like fucking startup company and fucking names.
It's going to give it the new version.
Baldy and the Beav is a startup company name, bitch.
That's true.
So
I was not fully on board with it.
You started it.
Yeah.
You said it.
As a suggestion.
Shut up. I hate you.
But it won't make the copy. Or you can skip conversion, where it'll just simply open.
Every company name is a startup company name, you idiot.
In the new version. None of your assets are going to be converted.
Yeah, I know, but your shit is always like Quest Online or some shit, or
Questline was like a thing at one point.
Ultra Garage.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy ass names, dude.
How is that crazy ass names?
Because it just is.
But how?
Because I said so, Nathan. It's my opinion.
You're ridiculous.
You can browse, find that project, and open it up, and it'll open up in that version. Now we do have the marketplace quick link, as well as the ability to search for any projects you may want to look for by the name. The last additional thing on here is our new projects tab. This is where we would go to create new projects, and that will be covered in our next chapter.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's making a project. Fuck.
Are we supposed to do that? We know how to make new projects.
Yeah. This is like kind of like redoing what we already know.
The very first fucking thing we learned.
Yeah.
We're going to click on the new project tab.
Yeah.
Presented with all of our options.
Can I get a hon, yeah?
This so we can go ahead and see easier. And
no.
Thing we're do is choose a template if we want to use that as a starting point. Templates are pre-built projects that we can use to accelerate the development of our project. For example, let's say I wanted to create an architectural visualization. I could click on the third person project. This is going to give me a third person character, a mannequin that I can follow around using a third-person camera and easily move them and control the camera for maybe walking through a building. It's a great way to start off without having to code your own systems. Now you do have two primary options. You have Blueprint or C++. Blueprint is the built-in visual scripting language in Unreal Engine 4. It's a great way for non-programmers to do some programming type stuff. C++ is your traditional code-based coding system. They are both interchangeable, and you can change and add later, so don't worry if you happen to think you might have chosen the wrong one. We're going to start with third person, and then we'll move down to our settings. These are the default settings when you first start up your project.
What if I wanted to do first person? Why does it assume I want to do third person?
Console, then I may want to choose the desktop console. The other option is mobile or tablet. Maximum quality for your graphics, or scalable 3D or 2D. These are changeable after you have started up your project. This is just your defaults. So go ahead and try to choose what you're going to aim for your end goal. The next option is starter content. Starter content is a collection of resources, audio files, some blueprints for...
Yeah, this is literally shit. Okay, I'm going on to the next. The project settings overview. We literally just did the project settings.
We're going to go ahead and include the starter content.
You're not wrong there.
Lastly, you'll need to choose
we literally just did project settings.
I'm just going to bounce around while I wait for this to finish.
Call this third
I don't even think I need to watch this either.
Perfectly okay. Something you need to note is Unreal Engine prefers alphanumeric when you're naming your folder and your project itself. If you try to use something else, let's say an exclamation point or a period, it's going to let you know only certain names are allowed. So go ahead and just try to avoid it.
Oh no.
Once we create a project,
I misclicked.
Spin up, and it's going to start doing things.
I broke it. Everything's done. I'll see you in fucking half an hour. I clicked launch.
Project, you gotta fix it.
No, I clicked launch instead of play.
Oh my god. Got a fully developed game.
True, dude. We're going live. Yeah, no, my shit's frozen.
Just depends if you've
launch day
before, and if you have a speedy computer, maybe something a little slower or old. But after a bit of time, it's going to go ahead and start up your project with all of your settings that you've chosen. Now, we created this with a template.
Okay, yep.
As you can see here, I actually
okay, on to the next. Project and templates conclusion.
Go ahead and hit play. You can see that I can move around my character. And we have a nice little start to a possible architectural visualization simulation from our template. There's also a nice little overview if you click the play button here on this tutorial.
Comprehending project and file structure quiz. Did Nathan die? Nathan probably died.
I did die. Yeah, it's.
You want to move your project to a more recent
It's fucking broken. I can't do anything.
Add the new engine features as a feature pack. Launch the engine version you want to.
Inevitably,
then open your project into that.
Not inevitably.
Engine.
That's not the term. I don't know what term I was looking for, but I can't do anything now.
Maybe some meshes.
I don't know if my shit's doing anything.
Buildings, some walls, maybe some materials and some textures, some
damn it, dude.
Like
yeah, I broke
Got the question wrong. You created a blueprint, mobile-based project. Why are you able to change it to a desktop-based project?
Because I can.
Code. Yeah.
Because I can.
So you might not want to include it with every project if you just simply don't need it. Second of all, feature packs. Feature packs are basically templates that can be added after the fact. So if we go to add new, add feature or content pack.
Incorrect.
Presented with our blueprint feature pack.
You created a first-person template project, but want to add the third-person project as well. How would you best do this?
You'll notice we have a mobile starter content here. It is basically the same thing as our starter content, but optimized for mobile. It's about a fifth of the size.
Why should you set your target platform in the project settings?
You can easily just choose a feature or a content pack and tell it to add to project. So for example, let's say I wanted to add flying to this as well. I could do add to project, and you now have our flying section with our flying template inside of our project. And with that, that is the basics of how to manage projects, create projects, and then what options you have available to us when you're working with projects for the first time.
I'm gonna be honest. as I was going through and making these jokes, I feel like I've made these same jokes before, and I'm pretty sure I've streamed me trying to learn Unreal before.
Understanding the .u project file.
Then adjust
Okay.
any project settings. When we created the new project, we were able to choose what we
That's
wanted
where
for
I
the
am.
defaults, the scalability, and our target.
I'm almost on the good shit, Nathan. We might get to
We'll
it.
be presented with our project settings.
I broke mine,
there
so
are quite a lot of things inside of here.
I don't know if
cover,
I'm going to.
And all of those things are covered in detail inside the Unreal documentation. However, here are some important things that you may wish to know about when you're first starting out. The target hardware is where we set up our initial settings. We chose desktop, console, and maximum quality. This is where you are able to adjust this after the fact. All of these settings, for example, if we go to desktop, console, mobile, tablet, all of these settings are explained here on what will and will be turned on and off, what will be modified, for example. These are individually changed in different sections inside of our project. For example, we have something like use mouse for touches enabled, which is in the engine input section. If we go over to engine input, we can find that option, use mouse for touch. All these do is quickly allow us to change for a target. All these are explained in detail in the appropriate sections. Here you can see, for example, since we're going for a mobile or tablet, we're going to allow our
I am doing a great job.
Touch input. We're going to disable things like
No, you're not,
and
bitch.
blur, things that are heavy on our mobile or tablet device.
Don't be rude.
And we're
I got a baby.
Things like split screen disabled. The options you change, again, it will.
Yeah, man. I'm listening. I'm learning. I don't know what you want from me. I don't want to put this on display because like it's the fucking site. It's their stuff. I can't play their content. That's how I get banned, dude.
Yes, you can. Do it.
You're doing it.
Parts in here are things such as our
also, Baldie and the Beav. That's fucking yeah.
Create our starting
what?
For when someone starts.
I don't know. Zach just said Baldie and the Beav ? Yeah.
Startup map. This is the
I don't know.
What happens when you are in the editor.
Like, what's the question?
Which is the map
and Beaver.
Yeah, I'm bald, and his last name, I mean, should be Beaver.
Will eventually, maybe in like 10 years, be Beaver.
Like, not that hard.
May procrastinate a little bit.
Yep, I was like, it's not that hard.
Your game mode, which is covered separately. All the basic important things are covered in your maps and modes. Packaging covers what is included in your project when you package it. Supported platforms is a quick and easy way to choose which platforms you wish to support with this project. If you're not going to support one project, for example, we don't wish to support HTML5, if we disable it, we'll no longer have the option to build out to HTML5, and anything associated with HTML5 will be removed as an option. These are just quick and simple settings
what the fuck HoloLens
that
is?
you may wish to know about when you first start a new project.
I don't know what Lumen is. The fuck is tvOS? People are gonna play this shit on a TV? I mean, no one's gonna play it, so it doesn't matter. But like, people gonna play this shit on a TV?
What else would they play it on?
Like a console or something?
And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our projects and templates section. So what did we learn? We learned to manage.
Where are you at? I'm not even on quiz 2 yet.
Those new projects, we learned about templates and feature packs. They help us quickly accelerate our project. We learned about starter content. Again, quickly accelerating.
Understanding the .u project.
Right off the ground. And then we briefly looked at project settings. Some of the common settings for the project that we might want to modify once we start up our new project. Now, where should we go from here?
Nah,
the first things we should do is learn
waking
our
up?
editor interface.
Yeah, it's about that time.
How do we actually manipulate and work with all of our content inside our editor?
You say 7 and always get off at 6.
Okay, first off, I didn't say I was getting off. I said she's waking up. Yeah, it's about that time. As in, yeah, this is about the time she wakes up, you fucking cucklord. Also, I've been getting off at 6:30.
Oh, he always gets off at 6:30. What a bitch.
6:30.
Bitch.
Run it back.
Bitch.
I was going to change a desktop-based project with C++. Fucking, I don't remember because I wasn't paying attention. Because Patrick was yelling at me.
Wow. Blame it on the brown guy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, so initial project creation settings are default settings, not permanent. Yes, that's true. Poggers, I'm correct. I'm a genius. You created a first-person template project, but want to add the third-person project as well. How would you do this? You import the project via the maps and modes. Nope. You create a new third-person. Nope. Add the third-person template by importing it as a feature pack. True. Why should you set your target platform in the project settings? The platforms you release on determine packaged project size. Nope. Setting the target platforms are necessary to make a project. No. Setting which platforms you target, which will disable unnecessary settings. True. Oh my god, why is this one so long? You want to move your project to a more recent engine version. Oh, fuck. This is supposed to be on stream, though. This is fine. I can take quizzes on stream. Damn, big dumb idiot here.
Get wrecked, loser.
Yeah, actual dumb. You want to move your project to a more recent engine version. How would you go about doing this? You want to move your project to a more recent engine version, but create a new recent engine, drag and drop the older versions, add the new engine feature. Fuck, I actually don't know this one.
What is it?
You want to move your project to a more recent engine version. How would you go about doing this?
Be better. Be smarter than the machine.
I wasn't paying attention enough.
Understanding project structure. Whoa.
I don't see anything about that.
Cached downloads, DDC folders, import files. Oh my god. I'm 3 away. 3 away from the cool shit, dude.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, man. We'll get play tomorrow, or we'll finish tomorrow. No? No? I want to move, then open your project into that engine. I think that's the way. This is the way. This is the way. Yep, I'm a genius. It's almost like that's what you do with anything. That's how you convert files.
Hello, my name is
Hello.
Matthew Wadstein, and welcome to the section on important files and folders in your project in Unreal Engine 4. We're going to look at things like the U project file itself, the features of it, as well as how we might want to edit it in case we run into a problem in the future. We have the actual folder structure itself for the project. What is the basic structure? Also, what files and folders are disposable? Which ones won't we need in case we need to give this to someone else? Our cached downloads. When our launcher downloads items from our Learn tab in our marketplace, where are they at? Once we know where they're at, how can we manage them both from the disk
My
as well
P
as
is
the
looking a
downloads? And
little.
our DDC folders. Well, what is a DDC? It's our
Did you just take a
dry data
piss?
cache. And it's a useful
Yeah.
way of speeding
A
up
little
the start
dehydrated.
time on our projects,
Drink more water.
allowing other people to gain the benefits.
No,
we learn how to manage
I
them.
think I'll keep drinking
We also
tea,
learn
thank
how
you.
to move them if needed and how to get rid
Okay.
of them to save space. So let's go ahead and let's get started.
Understanding the .u project file.
Stop catching up to me, bitch.
I gotta change a diaper in a second. We're supposed to be learning at the same pace.
Unreal Engine 4
Yeah, and I'm clearly better.
file. It contains the basic
I
settings.
failed
of
every
how to-
quiz.
Have you really?
If we were to open
No,
it up,
just like the
for
past
example,
couple
we'll
ones.
have
Oh my
files as
god,
text
dude.
file. And you can
But
see
I would be
this
able to do it
project,
in the
the
editor.
conversion is for
You're a
the
So it's
liar.
okay.
and it has no other basic
I'm not
settings.
good
It's
at
my
reading
basic
words,
project where I have no
stupid.
Or
changes.
learning or
There are a
listening.
few options you have if you
Or
right-click on
learning
your
or
project, you
listening.
can
Haha.
launch
So funny,
If
Nathan.
we launch the
That's
game
a
this
real
way, it's
original.
basically going to take the existing project
Do you get
itself
told that a
and
lot?
run it with the associated
I
conversion,
don't.
and
Well,
we're
it
gonna
didn't
end
even
up
really
with a
register
running
what you
project.
said.
Now this isn't built. It isn't cooked.
I just responded.
It isn't saved out. It isn't compressed.
I don't have enough
It's
time
just
to
taking
listen to
it
your
like we're
complaints.
running it through the editor, except we're running it through the command line.
Just makes the complaint that much better. It's okay.
Another option is to switch Unreal Engine version. Now this is handy if you need to change the version. However, this doesn't go through and update assets. It doesn't say, hey.
All right. Gotta change her.
You changed her? That was fucking fast. This looks like all shit you're gonna be doing. Okay, cache downloads. Cached downloads.
Yeah, man, it's weird. I have like a tiny little human, and she's like starting to realize things.
For example,
That's weird.
Yeah, like within the first month, she obviously realized she had hands, right? And of course, the first thing she did was stick them in her mouth. And she just recently
got little grappling hooks
Yeah.
connected to my arm sticks.
2 days ago, she started realizing she had feet. And yesterday, she realized she could fit her foot in her mouth. Her whole ass foot was just fucking deep in her mouth. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah.
She's learning.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't stop her. I was just like, that's cool. All right. First thing you do is go, what can I put in my mouth? That is humans, by the way.
Double clicking it opens the associated version. In this case,
That's like everything. Or, well, that's like monkeys.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think dolphins are like, hey, can I put my tail in my mouth?
They might, dude. I don't know. I haven't really paid too much attention to a baby dolphin. I think they're more focused on survival, though. That's true.
We look at, for example, our starter content.
Yeah, they already like know what they need to eat, you know? Humans are fucking dumb. We're like, what do we need to eat?
We're like the most useless motherfuckers.
Do we eat our hands?
So long, dude.
We go down to our
We
blueprints,
honestly are so shitty
they're not empty on
for the
disk.
wild
We right-click and
because
show an
we're
explorer.
effectively useless for like years.
I mean, modern humans, yeah. But like, I mean, there's like full-on gymnasts at the age of 4. So like, think about if they were if humans were put into a survival situation, likely by 3 or 4, we could start hunting small game.
We actually can see
Yeah, but if you encounter any predators or anything,
yeah, that's most like fucking things.
Yeah, but shit comes out of the womb running.
Oh.
We gotta wait.
Bro, you think a fucking baby elephant's not gonna get fucking clapped? They get clapped all the goddamn time.
I just watched one about like a bison or some shit that literally was born and had to run and survived.
Okay, but like, what about monkeys? Like, most monkeys fucking like latch onto their goddamn parents. So what's the difference between like fucking a person carrying a kid and a fucking monkey carrying a kid, or an alligator carrying their kid, or snakes carrying their kids? It's normal.
Because
folder.
that bitch is
And if we
not
go
even
right-click
helping.
generate, it's going to create the solution
All of
file
them are
from the
holding on
source
for
code.
dear life. This bitch is just like,
Update
ah,
I'm
you're
gonna sit
gonna
here now.
die. You're gonna fucking die, bro.
Figure it out. Run faster, motherfucker.
And you can see we have a few other things in here. We have our modules. That tells us
That's fair.
which
I'll give you
source
that.
code we're going to associate with this project. So you can see
Bro, we killed off all the Neanderthals, which
They're
were capable of
literally-
survival.
This allows us to
They're like
compile those
literally a
modules
hard
and
carry.
create the solution file. You can see the platforms that it targets. So if we go back
For a
we
few
can right-click,
years to
generate
begin
new
with.
studio file.
So
It's gonna
like,
go through. It's gonna grab any modules, any
not
targets,
very
any source code
well
associated
equipped.
Nah,
with
dude,
the project.
Neanderthals probably were running right out of the womb.
And then we'd be able to open that up with our Visual
We've
Studio.
just
I
evolved
don't
past
know.
that thanks to fucking us being
Now you did notice I went
so
through and I
comfortable.
was
So
able to
our
open
babies
with
suck.
Notepad.
Yeah, I mean they don't because they can, right?
And
Otherwise,
you
evolution,
won't.
like
You
evolution-wise, we would have
I'm
died.
gonna learn at my pace.
enable or disable something.
Yeah, evolution-wise, we would have
For
failed,
example,
you
we
know.
have
But
our
like
plugin.
back then, to survive, we had to be able to fucking sprint,
If
you
we
know.
go ahead
Well, that's
and
why
open
we
up our
just
third-person
created
project
gangs.
and enable that plugin.
We
our
fucking
uProject
we
folder
ganged up,
with
dude. The
project
whole
file
town
Gang, gang.
squares up
update itself
together.
and show that we now have
Yeah,
our
that doesn't
plugin
happen.
as one of our valid options when we start up this project.
Early
If you
on,
ever
it
run
did.
into the
Yeah,
issue
no, that's what I'm saying.
edit
But we
or
evolved,
remove a
and like we got
plugin, or
comfortable,
you don't have a
and don't have to worry about.
And now we're like, I don't want to know
editing
my neighbor.
uProject
Yeah,
file
absolutely.
is a way to
I
resolve
brought my
it.
neighbor cookies, dude.
So if we go into our plugin,
They loved
and we
me.
have Substance, we'll go and enable it and restart.
My
Restart
neighbor
the
brought me
project,
cookies, and I said
the
I'm
plugin
vegan,
enabled.
bitch, and threw them
And if we were to
away.
go back to our uProject
No, you didn't.
file,
Shut
we
up.
should be able to
No,
open
I
it up.
didn't. Don't be
We
mean.
now
You would
have
never do that. You would probably like
I
politely
would
say you
probably
were
throw them
vegan.
away.
I
I
think
would
you would.
probably take them and throw them away, or give them to my family or
Yeah.
something.
enable true
I'm
and
saying like you'd let them know though, so they didn't do it again. Like you don't want them
Yeah.
wasting food.
project running,
Yeah, stop bringing me
but we no
some
longer have access to the
fucking
Substance
tortured
plugin.
animal product.
Let's say, for example, we're going to update. We want to now run this in 4.19, which is in preview. I'll switch it over to 4.19, and I'll go ahead and run the project. It's going to look through the uProject file. It's going to see, hey, we need the Substance
Stop
plugin.
talking to me, dude.
Oh, wait,
I
you
fucking
have that.
don't
You
know
don't
what
have
happened
it.
in this video
If
at
we
all.
go to this, we're going to go to the marketplace, and if we go to the marketplace for the Substance
I'm
plugin,
trying to figure out what we're supposed to be learning.
you're gonna find you don't
DDC
have
folders,
4.19
let's go.
as an option.
It's
Because
talking
in
about fucking
3.19,
plugins for
you
like
don't have that as a plugin.
4.18
I
or
think I'll
4.17.
figure it out for all of this shit.
With that plugin, because we're gonna
It's probably, it's not like
we can
it's
easily go in,
it's
open
gonna
up
tell
our
us the
Notepad,
same shit in the
close
next
the entire
videos.
plugin section, or just disable it if we want to. And then if we open up our uProject, it's gonna look through. It's gonna say, "Hey, open this with 4.19. You have no plugins. You have no source code. Let's just go ahead and start the engine and run this project inside the engine." And then after a few moments, it'll go ahead and start up. And that is it. That is the basics of our uProject file. Again, it's a text file. It's basically controlling how our engine works with this project, the version, the plugins, the modules for C++, which supported platforms, and other items like that.
I dropped that cheap.
What chip are you eating?
No, poker cheap.
Oh. Cache downloads.
In
Oh
this
my
section,
god,
we're
dude.
going to cover important project files. This is our third-person project. Inside of our folder, we're going to find a few.
I don't know what she wants.
Project file. The project file is important. If you get rid of it, you pretty much don't have the basics of your project anymore. Our configuration folder is important. This controls and contains project-specific settings. In this case, I have a default input that I've modified inside of my engine to add a new input. If I was to delete this INI file or delete this configuration folder, the next time I start up my project, I'd no longer have those settings. Our content folder is our content folder. It contains all the content for our project. You can see here we have things like our flying inner geometry, which match our flying inner geometry inside of our content folder inside of our project. You should not delete this folder or you'd lose all your content. Additional folders in here were things like our collection.
True. Any truer? Nope. Please don't headbutt that.
Accessed if we're in our content browser by showing collections or showing developer content, And they're places to put things such as shortcuts and scratch files when you're working on your project. You should not get rid of them. The next is our intermediate folder. This can be gotten rid of. This is just
important files and folders conclusion.
In the intermediate
that pretty much means I don't need to watch that.
Using the engine. If you get rid of this,
2 videos behind you. 3 videos behind you.
Comprehending profile or project and file structure quiz. You're adding a marketplace asset to a project for the first time.
Shut up! I'm trying to listen. Jesus Christ!
The assets will be downloaded, added to your project, and added to your cache downloads folder.
These things will be recreated as needed, but we cannot recreate
what
was in here once we delete it. For example, we have our logs folder.
He probably
which
muted me.
Our running logs
That's so
of
rude.
Our game.
I would never do some shit like that to him.
And
shut up.
Things like crashing and stuff like that. We also have backups and autosaves. In the case your map crashes or the engine crashes, you can come back in here and recover things. The engine itself will also look through your save folder and try to recover things if needed on a crash. Now this is a blueprint project. We have no C++ code. We go into my C++ project here, we see a few more folders. I actually see one more file as well. Our solution file for Visual Studio can be deleted. It will be recreated when we run our new project the next time, and it detects our modules, and it will recreate. Our VS folder is specific to Visual Studio. We can delete it if we need to. It's just holding temporary data for like autocomplete.
Grab it, go.
Like that.
Hey.
Binaries is a temporary folder.
Nathan.
It contains,
what?
If we go into it, our
Have you ever heard of a
code, our DLL
pacifier
associated with our module, which is our
shut the fuck up.
That is created every time.
We're big chilling, okay?
Feel free to get
you want to send a blueprint project to another developer. Which necessary folders will the developer need, along with the EU project?
Don't start the next section. After you're done.
Don't fucking tell me what to do, bitch.
Bro, I waited for you.
This is our source.
The config, content, and source folders.
If you get rid of this, you're no longer going to be able to have any
probably those
code in your project. It's not going to compile
content and code. Okay.
If you run into a problem, let's say you have a project where
you downloaded a learning project by the Epic Games from the Learning tab, where you can access the project files.
You can technically delete
the vault
folder. You can edit your project file in Notepad.
Oh shit, Sherlock.
And you can kind of reset it back to a blueprint-only project.
Making a meme.
But if you're working on this
as the
properly,
kids say,
it's not recommended. Your source folder should
Why do you want that?
It is a required folder.
Grab it.
There are additional folders and files that
Nothing's
can
stopping
be
you.
inside your project.
Damn, it probably was the vault.
But they are not.
Wait, was that an option?
Your required folders to create your project properly are going to be your config, your content.
It says the files though, right?
Source, and then any files.
I have no idea. It's gone off my screen now. I can't remember.
If you'd like more information,
you have a larger team and want to speed up the sharing of assets. What is one thing you do to help share art assets? Fucking die.
In this section, we're going to cover the downloads, the cached downloads for our vault. Our vault being items we download from our Epic Games launcher from like our Learn tab or the Marketplace. We can see the vault
hey, I got it right.
The items I have contained, as well as the amount of space it takes up on the disk. Now, just because something's in your vault doesn't mean it's actually
blueprints and gameplay for game designers.
Wait.
Create a project.
For how long, bitch?
2 videos.
Even then, it'll ask you
2 videos.
Wish to update
3 videos.
As needed.
3 videos. I gotta watch some YouTube. Fuck.
Up here, the little cog
yeah, dude, be a politics streamer.
Vault cache location.
Racist.
This will show us where the default cache is at. And by default, it's going to be where the launcher is in the vault cache folder. Now, if you want, you can browse and you can find a different folder, maybe a different drive that is meant for storing things rather than a smaller SSD, and you can change your cache location, and it'll go ahead and change it. But let's say we want to go ahead and look inside of there, see what's inside of there, and manage things. Well, here's my vault cache, and we can notice a few things. You'll notice it stores folders, and those folders will contain the packages that you've downloaded, and they're actually versioned depending on how you've downloaded and what you've downloaded. In this case, you can see I have the content examples for both
What the
4.15,
fuck, lady?
4.17, and 4.18. I actually have
Are you okay?
Hey.
In
Hey.
You gonna fucking die?
What?
If we look at that,
Lady just started breathing all weird.
About 4 gigabytes.
She have something in her nose?
So that's taking up a good large amount of space.
She's just a snorer.
Need anymore. If we look in here, I don't have 4.15. So
You having fun?
The content examples for 4.15.
No.
So I could go in here and I could delete them, and it'll go ahead and remove it from my.
She just started sucking on her fist. It was fucking slobbery, dude.
If we were to go to content examples, we can see we can also remove.
Yeah, dude, babies are gross. Like what?
If I was to create a project,
what'd you expect?
It asks you where you want to create it and which version.
I haven't even told you the shit stories.
Handy. For example, if I wanted to create a version 4.18,
I don't care. I don't want to know. And I will not probably ever have to do that in my life.
Probably. You think you might change eventually?
Probably not. That's why I said probably.
But probably implies that there is still a chance, no matter how slim it is.
I don't like to be definitive.
Yeah, I know. You never choose anything. I get it.
That's how we would work with it and find it. That's how we can move it, and that's how we can add and remove things from it if needed.
Some people live their lives a quarter mile at a time. You live your life fucking a 16th of a mile at a time.
Yeah. So what?
That's it. That's the end of that's the whole bit.
Are you done? Are you
No, 4 minutes. 4 minutes on this.
Now?
No, shut the fuck up. We got 4 minutes on this video. And then I got another video after that.
Cache that stores versions of your assets.
Just skip, dude.
Specific format that is used by.
We want to get to this stuff anyways.
We want to learn.
It'll probably tell us again.
That are different than the source.
But you don't know that for sure. And you never will if you don't watch it.
If you look in the bottom right-hand corner.
Well, let me check.
I've been doing it for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, rewatch the stuff that you didn't actually learn, learn it, and then you'll know.
And storing them in the drive.
No, it's going to tell us.
So now you'll notice we have our project
blueprints and gameplay and development introduction course.
Good. We no longer have that message. Our project is loaded and ready.
I'm excited.
To close it down,
you're gonna realize real quick that we're not actually gonna learn shit.
Yeah, when we have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Find the appropriate drive data cache for any of the files we might want to load up.
They're gonna be like, all right, so now that you
and use those instead, so it doesn't have to.
They're gonna be like, so now that you're an entry-level game dev, you just do you get your base game already done, and then you come here. And it's like, wait, what?
Now our project is
like, now come work for us.
No longer have to compile shaders. We're ready to go. It basically sped up.
Have you ever heard of something called Crunch?
Now, if we were going to go ahead and look through that folder,
you're gonna love it.
Find a few things. We have a directory.
You're gonna love it.
And then we have a
1 sec.
Okay. Can I watch it now? Still on Unreal phase? Yes, Daytonia. Nathan lasts in his project significantly longer than me. And now I have to wait for his fucking slow ass.
Oh yeah, baby staying on the lap. This is gonna be fun.
I only have 3 versions of the
okay. Gotta bind mute or deafen to my fucking binding.
No longer need it.
True.
Now, even if I didn't know for sure, if I reinstalled .16, the next time it started up, it would recreate the appropriate files it needs. The drive data cache will recreate itself and keep itself updated as needed. Now, that's important to know. If we were to open these up, for example, and look at the properties, we're looking at about 500 megabytes. It's not too much, but I haven't really loaded up much content. With a larger project, it's going to get larger and larger. As you add and remove things,
is it a fucking Netflix movie?
Stale items in there. For example,
is what a Netflix movie?
Nate finally knows what it's like to constantly carry a baby. Fuck, dude.
Bro, have you played games with Patrick? The fuck,
just-
dude? I've been doing that shit for years.
That is not required to be there. It will
Hey.
recreate it when the engine needs it. One thing to note,
I'm
though,
hilarious though.
this
You're
is
just
what's
a baby
handy
and
for looking
unfunny.
for a project where there are
Bro,
multiple
any
people.
truers?
So let me go ahead and open up the documentation page for the drive data cache, which we can find in the documentation for Unreal Engine under drive data cache. And you can just search for drive data cache and find this file. All the information we talked about is in here, along with more information such as how to change where the drive data cache is stored on your local drive. If you follow these instructions, you can change where it's stored, and that will allow you to move it. For example, from your C drive to a D drive, off of maybe an SSD to something else. We no longer have to worry about storage concern. The nice thing about that is that folder, since it's configurable, can then be shared. You can have an entire group of people working on the project. They can share the same DDC, and it will lower the amount of time needed for shader compiling and project loading. For example, an artist may commit a bunch of work. It will compile all the shaders that one time for the artist, commit it to the drive data cache, and now anyone else who's loading up that project will gain that benefit. There are other things inside this document. Feel free to read them if you would like. Ways of doing other things like building it out by hand or distributing it if need be. But that is the basics of the drive data cache. It is where Unreal Engine stores items to make your project load faster.
No! I thought we were friends.
A pacifier
She doesn't want it.
and super
And
glue.
with that, we're going to go and wrap
Jesus
up
Christ, dude.
files and folders in Unreal Engine 4. So what did we learn? Well, we learned about the U project file. We learned about the basic layout of the project folder, and which files and folders may not be necessary. We learned about cache downloads, where the launcher places these downloads and how we can edit them later, as well as the DDC files and folders, where we might have them stored and how we might want to clean them up later to save space if needed. Where should we go from here? At this point, you might want to look into learning about the editor interface, how everything is done inside the editor, how the windows work together, and how we can manipulate items inside of our project, as well as diving into the documentation itself. The documentation on the Unreal Engine website is a great place to start looking for something you might want to learn.
Bro, I gotta take a quiz. It's 5 questions.
I don't even know what I'm watching. Oh my good God.
Okay, I gotta fucking restart because I fucked up the first one.
Oh my good Lord.
Oh, is that... Wait, what is that? What is flashback? What are you looking at? What is flashback?
I don't know, some fucking movie.
You said answer.
Watching a ending explain. Are you done, dude?
From...
Can I fucking
Wait, you're
can I
watching an
start?
ending explained for a thing you haven't seen?
Yeah. He literally goes through the entire movie. I don't have to sit through the whole movie. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just didn't know what to fucking watch, and I probably
Will never
will
watch
never
this.
watch this movie.
What is it?
It's a horror movie. This guy normally does horror movies.
Oh, I was like, Dylan O'Brien definitely does not normally do horror movies.
Oh no, I'm talking
But
about
the YouTuber. I knew what I that's what I was saying. I
bitch.
literally said it as a me. Okay, anyways, fuck you. You go fuck yourself.
So dumb.
While
Can
you're
I start?
While you're moving a project to a new preview of Unreal Engine, a new preview build, you get a message saying a plugin is unsupported. What is a way to get around this? Or remove get the latest disable the plugin from your vault. Remove the plugin from the engine version in the library. Remove the plugin from the .u project file. Bro, I'm gonna fail this shit. You have a large team and want to speed up sharing of assets. What is one thing you could do to help share art assets? Share the content browser? Fuck, dude. I fucking missed one and I'm pissed. I gotta go back and do it again because I passed test.
Hello?
Hello?
Are you done? Are you ready?
No.
Okay, I'm deafening you again. Send me a message when you're ready.
Augers.
Welcome to the Blueprints and Gameplay in Development course, a beginner course for aspiring gameplay designers looking to create content inside of Unreal Engine 4. Before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tim.
Don't smack the microphone.
Van Kan, and I want to help you become a technical gameplay designer like myself. I've worked with Unreal Engine 4 daily since the day it became free. I'm a publisher on the Unreal Engine Marketplace and an indie developer working on different titles, the main one being Aaron's Adventure. Over the years, I've worked on a variety of projects, reaching from games or VR experiences all the way to commercials for TV. The awesome thing about this, all of it was done inside Unreal. Just because you're working in a game engine doesn't mean you're
Hello?
always going to
Hello?
be working on game
You ready?
experiences.
Yeah, I'm only gonna be on for
In
like
this
30 more
course, we
minutes, so
will
let's fucking go.
cover a lot of topics inside
Let's
of
do
Unreal
it.
Engine 4. First, we will discuss what the role is of a gameplay designer working in a team. We will
1
change
minute and 50
variables at
seconds.
runtime, and we will debug our work. We will set up gameplay input for new character actions. We will create our own door parent blueprint and set up different child blueprints that share some of the functionality with its parents. We'll be adding basic sounds and particles, and we will utilize the post-process effects to radically change the look of our scenes. You'll learn how to use timelines, and you'll get an introduction to UMG.
Holy fuck.
In the first lesson, we will have a look at what is expected
What?
of a gameplay designer.
Dude, we're gonna
in
learn a
team,
lot.
and more specifically, a team working with Unreal Engine 4. Remember that Unreal Academy
Okay,
has
one
the
sec.
option to
Be right
change
back.
the playback
I gotta
speed
put her
of
in
the
her
video.
thing.
So in case things are going a little bit too fast for you, you can slow it down. But if something sounds familiar, you can also speed it up. And I recommend doing this instead of skipping a video. There could always be something there for you to learn that you would otherwise miss.
What is a gameplay designer? My mom. You're not my boss, bitch. Let's go.
Welcome to the Blueprints and Gameplay in Development course, a beginner course for aspiring gameplay designers
We've already
looking
seen
to
this.
create content inside of.
What?
What's in the
First
first
up,
person
we'll
player
briefly talk about what
pack?
it means to be a gameplay designer.
Like the
What is
blueprints?
We haven't done
expected of
first
you in your
person.
team, but more importantly to this course,
I thought
what
we
is
did.
expected of you
Did third
when working
person.
inside UE4. When we look at different job applications for the role of a gameplay designer, lucky for us, a lot of the same points come up. You should be able to produce concepts for new gameplay items and systems, look for areas of improvements with the current design. You should be able to author and maintain design documents, be able to work collaboratively in a team, and be able to make quick iterations. Blueprints are the perfect tool to help you produce new prototypes for gameplay or to iterate on something that a programmer has already made. The uniform and consistent look of Unreal Engine also make it easier to step outside your area of expertise and have a look at others' their work, be able to understand what an artist is doing. As a gameplay designer, you should have basic knowledge on most of the different features of Unreal. You should be comfortable with the mesh viewer, materials, sounds, and other features the engine has to offer. Knowing a bit about these other features will make it a lot easier to work together with other departments. So, in summary, your responsibilities inside the engine are having a basic understanding of most features of the engine, knowing how to quickly iterate on gameplay elements, and being able to create new variations or completely new prototype actors for your project. We've now briefly discussed what it means to be a gameplay designer in UE4. Next up, we'll jump into the engine and have a look at our first-person project.
What did I just redeem?
I don't know.
Did you not do it as well?
No.
It literally says, what is a gameplay designer? Copy and paste this in the marketplace redemption code to access project files for this course.
Oh, nice.
You just skipped over it. Genius.
In this module, we will have our first look at a blueprint, the first-person player character blueprint. What logic is already in there, and how can we start to change those values up a bit? You can download the project from the course page, or create a new first-person character template with starter content. I'm currently using Unreal Engine 4.25. But before going into the editor, we will have a look at the most common variables. First, we have the boolean, which is almost always colored red, which will make it easy for you to spot. A boolean can only have two values, either it's true or it's false. Example would be a variable called can sprint. It could be true or it could be false. You can either sprint or you can't. Next we have an integer. This is a whole number, usually colored a more dark green bluish. This can't have any decimal values and it's not a variable that will come across a lot during the course. Next up, we have a float, usually recognizable by a light green color. This is also a number variable, but a float can have a decimal. It's a very common variable which we will actually use a lot as well. And last, we have a vector, recognized by its yellow color. This is a set of 3 numbers which can be used for a lot of different things. Vectors are also used to indicate actors' position in the world, where X, Y, and Z all represent a dimension in the game world. If you'd like to get a better understanding of more common variables, you can check out the official Unreal Engine documentation. We will now have a look to see if we can recognize some of these variables in our first-person character blueprint. Alright, we are finally in the engine. We're in the gameplay.
I gotta open my fucking first-person world. GG's.
Oh, dude, we could make Call of Duty Advanced Warfare so easily. Just put jump on 3000 and speed on 3000.
To do what?
And we will have made Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's how it works.
Yeah.
A designer project, which is basically a first-person template just cleaned up a little bit and changed around just a little bit. We can press play. Which is basically a first-person template just cleaned up a little blueprint. Alright, we are finally in the engine. We're in the gameplay designer project, which is basically a first-person template just cleaned.
I'm on changing component variables.
Up a little bit and changed around just a little bit. We can press play, we can walk around, we can jump. These light blue cubes can actually move when we shoot at them, so you can shoot with the mouse button. And you can see it move.
Bro, this is so loud.
We can have a look at how this is all set up.
What?
Let's look for our
Have you shot in game?
No.
Inside the content browser. Logically, would go to blueprints and then first-person temp. Look for our first moves. And I'm going to press escape so we can have a look at how this is all set up. Let's look for our first-person character blueprint inside the content browser. Logically, would go to blueprints and then first-person template, and then we can find it. Another way to do this is to select the asset that you want to go to, select it in the world outliner or in the viewport, and press Ctrl B. That will actually take you directly to the asset in the content browser. Right now, this isn't really necessary for us, but as your project gets bigger and there's a lot of different actors, you may want to look them up real quick. You can just press Ctrl B. Let's open it up. Here we are, the first person character. If we check out the event graph, we can see the different input that is set up. We've got our mouse input for turning and looking up and down. We've got our move forward and move right. These also take care of moving backwards and moving left. And we have an input set up for jump, which just calls a function called jump. And we have spawn projectile, which shoots that yellow ball when we press left mouse button and plays a sound. If we go to our viewport, we can see what makes up our first person player character. We can see the camera, the capsule, the mesh. You can also see those here in the components tab. You can see our capsule.
Why do I have
our
2
arrow
guns?
component, our mesh, which is currently empty because we added a mesh
Because you're a
directly under the
loser.
camera,
Did you have 2 guns when you opened it?
and a weapon.
I haven't opened
Now, another
anything.
thing that we can see.
I literally
And
saw on your stream you had the viewport open, you
now, another thing
cucklord.
that we can see. You can also see those.
Nuh-uh.
We can see what makes up our first person player character. We can see the camera, the capsule, the mesh. You can also see those here in the components tab. You can see our capsule, our arrow component, our mesh, which is currently empty because we added a mesh directly under the camera, and a weapon. Now, another thing that we can see over here is called character movement component. This isn't a component that you can see, but it is a component that has a lot of movement logic inside of it. So when we say jump, it actually calls a function inside this component. If we check out the details panel with the character movement selected, we can see a whole lot of different variables that influence our character movements. So we can see gravity scale, max acceleration, break-in friction factor. Now you'll be able to recognize some of these variable types by what we discussed earlier. You can see that these are all floats, they have a decimal number. A little bit further down, we can see some true-false statements. These are all booleans. Alright, let's actually start changing some of these values. Let's take our maximum walk speed. Let's put that on 1000. But we'll also want to change how
Whoa!
high our character can jump. Scroll down.
Wow, what a stretch.
And we can change the jump speed velocity to something like 1000 as well. We have to click compile and save, make sure all the code is compiled, and then we can press play. And now when we walk a lot faster, and when we jump a whole lot higher.
Oh my god, dude, you could fly.
That's how easy it is to change some of the movement variables around. You can also do this directly in the level. So by selecting your first person player character, and then in the details panel, you can actually extend this a bit. When we scroll down, we'll see our character movement. With the character movement component selected, we can now tweak the same variables as we were able to tweak before. Keep in mind, this does not save it to the blueprint. So we set this to 200, press play. We are now walking super slowly, but we can still jump incredibly high. Now, we just had our first look at our character blueprint and we changed the maximum movement speed and the jump height. I now encourage you to have a look yourself and see if you understand what a lot of the variables in the character movement components do and what the logic in the event graph does. In the next part, we'll change the maximum movement speed with a new variable that we'll create ourselves, and we'll make sure that it happens on begin play.
I don't have a sprint. Okay.
I understand, I think.
You don't, but it's okay.
In this module, we will have our first look at our
Shut
blueprint.
your dirty
The
mouth,
first-person
Nathan.
player
You don't know.
character.
Are you at the first quiz already?
Maybe.
Fucking nerd.
No, I'm experimenting with variables at
In this
runtime.
module,
I'll probably get off at the first thing, but I'm gonna be messing with these at the first quiz. But I'm messing with what we're learning.
We will make it easier to play around with the movement variables we have changed before. We will create our own new variables, and we will initialize them when the game begins. We will comment our code, and we will make sure that they are editable so that we can change them in the level instance as well.
I want a first-person spear fishing game.
Maximum walk speed and jump height with
Huge
our
IQ.
own new
Do it.
variables. Let's go into the first-person play character.
I don't see
Off of
enough
it,
fly
we
fishing
want to replace
representation.
variables that are part of the character movement component. We can actually drag this out into our event graph.
Fuck, dude, it's gonna be so hot,
This
man.
reference will allow us to set or get variables from the component. So if we drag off and we look for max walk speed, we can see that we get a get max walk speed or set max walk speed. We'll want to do set max walk speed. This will now overwrite the value of this variable in the component. We want to do the same for the
Hey,
jump
sell your
distance.
house.
True.
For set jump C velocity.
Let's
And overwrite
move
that
to
as well.
Canada.
We want that to happen after we've
Experimenting
overwritten
with
max walk
variables
speed.
at
What's
runtime.
happening now is that we're
5
setting both of
minutes
them to
and
0
11
in this
seconds.
piece of logic. We're going to create our own variables. I'm going to show 2 ways of doing this. First way is to go to the My Blueprints tab and then variables and then click the plus here on the variable. We now added a new variable. So let's call it FB underscore max walk speed. FB standing for first person. Press enter. Now if we check out the details panel, we can see that the variable type is actually a boolean. We need this to be a float. So we can click it and there, float. If we want to set a default value, we need to compile first. So we need to compile our code. Let's go ahead and do that. Compile. I always like to save afterwards as well, just to make sure. And now we can set a default value. Let's put that to 500. Compile and save. In this case, there's another way to create a new variable. We're setting the jump C velocity. We can go to that node and right mouse button on the green pin here and say promote to a variable. It now created a new variable, but it also set the variable type automatically, which is nice. We'll call this FB underscore max jump height. Now we need to compile and make sure to set a default value. Let's also do 500. Drag this down a little bit, make it a bit more readable. As you can see, we're still setting our max walk speed to 0, so we need to grab our new variable and connect it. So we can drag it out here and then select get. What you can also do if you want to get a get node is hold control while dragging out the variable and it will automatically do a get instead of ask you which one you want. If you hold Alt while dragging out, it will automatically do a set, but we don't need that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. We want to connect the max walk speed to the max walk speed, and there we go. We are now overriding our maximum walk speed and our jump velocity with our own new variables. But these 2 nodes are just hovering in the event graph. There's nothing here that's making this happen. But these 2 variables at the moment are never really called. They're just hovering in the event graph. We want them to happen as soon as the game starts. There's actually an event for that you can always call in any Blueprint actor. It's called begin play. So I'm going to go ahead and press right mouse button and look for begin play. And there we go. Add event, event begin play. We want to connect these 2. And there we go. As soon as our game starts, we override the maximum walk speed with our new variable and we override the jump velocity with
Were you able to get event play to be added?
Event begin play?
Yeah.
I didn't try to add it.
Why not?
So I'm just watching right now. I'm at the quiz, dude. You're ending right here at the quiz?
Yeah, but I've been doing this stuff, so I'm not even close to the quiz yet.
Oh.
Have you not been doing it?
No,
Why not? That was like the whole point.
because as soon as like I'm at a point to where I want to start doing it, I'm fine with doing it all. I wanna wait until I can start doing it all.
How do I do this? Doesn't make sense.
with our other new variable. Now we want to comment this code in case another team member wants to look over it, or we come back later
An
and we want to
integer.
make some changes. Let's select everything.
Correct. I'm a
press C
genius.
for comment.
You want
let's
to change
call
one of
this
your variables
gameplay.
at runtime using debug controls.
You can add
How
some
do you
more
build this
details to the
functionality?
description how you like. I'm going to say set gameplay. Or we come back later and we wanted to make some changes. Let's select everything and press C for comment. And let's call this begin play. You can add some more details to a description how you like. I'm going to say set movement variables. So what we need to do with begin play is go into the details panel with the comment
I'm a
selected
genius.
and go to
Why?
color and set this to blue.
I got the answer right. Okay,
begin
I'm
play
on
always be blue,
adding
but it's
sprint,
really easy for
crouch,
me to
health,
find it.
and debug
Right now, if we
damage.
zoom out, it won't be hard
Widget,
to find
blueprint,
blue, but I don't
introduction,
really
post
like
process
digging. I like to
volumes,
go by
blueprints
color
and
coding.
gameplay and
So
development
right
quiz.
now, I would be
Creating
able
the
to
door
immediately
parent.
spot begin play without having to read.
You going on?
Which I like.
No,
Oh.
So we'll go ahead and
I'm gonna
compile
finish
and
watching this
save,
flashback
and we'll
and
go
get into
back
some fucking video
to our
games
map.
because you're getting off
When
like
we
a
select our
bitch.
first-person character, however, we will not have access yet to those variables that we just created. We can't change them in the level instance of our actor. So we'll go right back to the first-person character. And we will not have access. So we'll go ahead. I like to go by color coding. So right now, I would be able to immediately spot begin play without having to read, which I like. So we'll go ahead and compile and save, and we'll go back to our map. When we select our first-person character, however, we will not have access yet to those variables that we just created. We can't change them in the level instance of our actor. So we'll go right back to the first-person character. And we need to make some changes over here. If we go
How do I fucking... This is stupid.
No shit, dude.
What?
It's like 9 minutes into the video before he says fucking that it's the drug that has been causing the movie to jump around all crazy. I was like, no shit. Who would have thunk it?
So the dude's like trying to like say he's smart because he figured this out, even though it's like a fairly obvious thing about the movie and part of the whole movie? Is
No.
that what I'm hearing?
No.
Well, okay. Just the way that you made it sound was that's how you made it sound.
go to the My Blueprints tab and we look at our new variables, you can see this icon behind it. And it says variable is not public and will not be editable on an instance of this blueprint. So what we need to do to change this is just click it. And this will open the eye, and this means that it is now public and that we can edit it on an instance of the blueprint. Another way to do this is to click the variable that you want to make editable, and then in the details panel select instance editable. Compile and save. You'll see that the eye icon has changed here as well. Go back to our first person map, and with your first person selected, in the details panel, you can now change those values. So now it's a whole lot easier for you to play, change the values, play again, change the values, play again. Something important to keep in mind is that if we do change the values, let's say we'll do 400, 400, you'll see these yellow arrows appear next to it. If we click these, it will reset back to default, which is 500. I'm going to change it to 400. But the changes that we make are only applied to the instance that we currently have selected. What this means is if I drag in a new first-person character, the values will have reset again. So values that you set on the level instance are not saved to the blueprint. You could look at those values and go back into your first-person character blueprint and then change the default value to your new value, but you can also select your first-person character and then in the details
This shit is
panel,
crazy.
click on Edit Blueprint and then select
Is Nathan
Apply
gone?
Instance
No, I'm still here.
Changes to Blueprint. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Apply instance changes to blueprint. We updated the blueprint. And now we can see 400 and 400 are the new normal. And then in the details panel, click on Edit Blueprint and then select
My
Apply
mom
Instance
is calling,
Changes to
dude.
Blueprint. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Apply instance changes to blueprint. We updated the blueprint. And now we can see 400 and 400 are the new normal. There's no yellow arrows. And if we go into the blueprint, we can see jump height's 400, max speed is 400. The variables inside the first-person player character have updated. You now know how to create a new variable that can be tweaked in a level instance. In this module, we will add debug controls that will allow us to change our variables while we play. This will allow us to test a lot of different values for them. We will also need to communicate these values back to ourselves so we know what the current value is.
Okay, I'm getting off.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Loser.
All right, time to go take care of the babies.